Hello everyone, and welcome to Old Coins News. Today, we're exploring some of the most valuable Susan B. Anthony $1 coins, including their history, rare varieties, mint errors, and what makes them valuable. Watch until the end. You might discover that your own dollar coin is worth much more than you think. Let's get started. The 1980p Susan B. Anthony $1 is one of the most recognizable modern United States dollar coins. It was struck at the Philadelphia Mint and carries a P mint mark, making it part of the second year of production for the Susan B. Anthony dollar series. Although this coin was intended to replace the larger Eisenhower dollar in everyday circulation, it never gained widespread public acceptance. Many people confuse it with a quarter because of its similar size and color. Despite its short circulation life, the 1980p Susan B. Anthony dollar has become an important collectible coin with a fascinating history, unique design, and several valuable varieties that attract collectors around the world. The obverse of the 1980p Susan B. Anthony dollar features the portrait of Susan B. Anthony, the famous American women's rights leader who devoted her life to fighting for women's suffrage. Her efforts helped pave the way for women to gain the right to vote in the United States. This coin was historic because it became the first circulating U.S. coin to feature a real American woman instead of a symbolic figure such as liberty. Around the portrait appears the word liberty, while the motto "I and God we trust" is displayed to the right. The year 1980 is shown below the portrait, and just above the date is a small P mint mark, indicating that the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The reverse design is equally historic. It features an American bald eagle landing on the moon while holding an olive branch, symbolizing peace after the success of the Apollo 11 moon landing. This design was originally used on the Eisenhower dollar and was adapted for the Susan B. Anthony dollar. Surrounding the eagle are the inscriptions United States of America, E Pluribus Unum, and $1. The reverse beautifully celebrates America's achievements in space exploration while honoring one of the nation's greatest civil rights pioneers on the obverse. The 1980p Susan B. Anthony dollar is composed of a copper core covered by outer layers of copper nickel, giving it a silver-colored appearance. The coin weighs 8.1 grams, has a diameter of 26.5 millimeters, and features an 11-sided inner border that creates a unique visual effect while the outside edge remains perfectly round. The edge itself is reeded, containing fine grooves similar to those found on quarters and dimes. Production numbers for the 1980p Susan B. Anthony dollar were significantly lower than those of the first-year 1979 issue. Approximately 27 million coins were struck at Philadelphia. Although this is still a large mintage, many coins were stored by banks and collectors rather than entering heavy circulation. As a result, many attractive examples remain available today. Collectors examine the condition of these coins very carefully. Coins graded MS-63 through MS-65 are relatively common and affordable. However, coins graded MS-66, MS-67, and especially MS-67 Plus become much scarcer because very few examples survive without contact marks or surface abrasions. Since Susan B. Anthony dollars were often stored in large bags, many coins receive scratches during transportation, making flawless examples difficult to find. One of the most desirable characteristics collectors seek is strong strike quality. A sharply struck coin shows full details in Susan B. Anthony's hair, facial features, and the feathers of the eagle on the reverse. Weakly struck examples may have flat areas that reduce collector value even if the coin has little wear. While the standard 1980p Susan B. Anthony dollar is generally worth only a small premium over face value, in circulated condition, uncirculated examples can command much higher prices. Typical mint state coins often sell for several dollars, while high-grade certified specimens can bring hundreds of dollars. Exceptional examples with outstanding luster and nearly perfect surfaces have sold for well over $1,000 at major coin auctions. Collectors should also examine every 1980p dollar for interesting mint errors. Off-center strikes, broad strikes, clip planches, die cracks, die breaks, double dies, and dramatic strike-through errors are all known within the series. Depending on the severity and rarity of the error, these coins may be worth many times more than ordinary examples. The luster of an original 1980p Susan B. Anthony dollar is another important feature. Fresh mint state examples display bright cartwheel luster that rotates across the surface when the coin is tilted under light. Coins that have been cleaned or improperly stored often lose this original appearance, reducing their desirability among experienced collectors. Proof versions of the Susan B. Anthony dollar, were not struck at Philadelphia. Instead, proof coins are produced at the San Francisco Mint with an S mint mark using specially polished dies and planchets. Therefore, collectors seeking the highest quality examples from 1980 often build complete sets containing both the Philadelphia circulation strike and the San Francisco proof issue. Although the Susan B. Anthony dollar was discontinued after 1981 due to low public demand, the coin returned briefly in 1999 before the introduction of the Sacagawea dollar. Today, the series represents an important chapter in modern American coinage. It reflects changing American society by honoring an influential woman while also marking the transition towards smaller dollar coins. Today, the 1980p Susan B. Anthony dollar remains a favorite among collectors because it combines American history, beautiful design, and the possibility of discovering valuable high-grade coins or rare mint errors. Many collectors search bankrolls, old collections, estate sales, and inherited coin jars hoping to find an exceptional example. Even though millions were minted, premium quality specimens continue to rise in demand, proving that condition is everything in coin collecting. The 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony $1 is one of the most historically important modern United States coins. Struck at the Denver Mint, this coin represents the very first year of the Susan B. Anthony dollar series and marked a major milestone in American coinage. It was the first circulating United States coin to feature the portrait of a real American woman rather than the traditional image of Lady Liberty. The coin was introduced to replace the large Eisenhower dollar with a smaller, lighter coin that would be easier to carry and use in vending machines and everyday transactions. Although the new dollar coin had many practical advantages, it was often confused with a quarter because of its similar size and silver-colored appearance. As a result, the coin did not gain widespread public acceptance, making it one of the most fascinating modern U.S. coins for collectors today. The obverse of the 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony dollar features the portrait of Susan B. Anthony, one of America's greatest leaders in the women's suffrage movement. Anthony spent decades campaigning for equal rights and women's right to vote, helping lay the foundation for the passage of the 19th Amendment. Her portrait was designed by chief engraver Frank Gasparo and shows her facing right with finely detailed hair and facial features. Around the portrait appears the inscription Liberty, while the national motto I in God We Trust is placed to the right. The date 1979 appears below the portrait, and just above the date is a D mint mark, indicating that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. 13 stars surround the portrait, representing the original 13 American colonies. The reverse design of the coin carries over the famous Apollo 11 moon landing theme originally used on the Eisenhower dollar. It features a majestic American bald eagle descending toward the moon while holding an olive branch, symbolizing both peace and American achievement in space exploration. The moon's surface is shown beneath the eagle, while the Earth appears in the distance, creating one of the most memorable reverse designs in modern U.S. coinage. Around the reverse are the inscriptions United States of America, E Pluribus Unum, and $1, completing a design that honors both American history and scientific accomplishment. The 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony dollar was struck on a copper core clad with outer layers of copper nickel, giving it a bright silver appearance while containing no silver. The coin weighs 8.1 grams, has a diameter of 26.5 millimeters, and features a reeded edge. One of its unique characteristics is the 11-sided inner border surrounding the design, while the outer edge remains perfectly round. This unusual feature gives the coin a distinctive appearance compared with other American coins. The Denver Mint produced approximately 288 million 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony dollars, making it one of the highest mintage issues in the series. Although millions were struck, many remained in storage because public demand for the new dollar coin was much lower than expected. Large quantities were never heavily circulated, allowing collectors today to obtain attractive uncirculated examples relatively easily. However, finding coins with exceptional surfaces and nearly flawless preservation is much more difficult. Collectors pay close attention to the quality of the strike when evaluating a 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony dollar. Well-struck coins display sharp details in Susan B. Anthony's hair, the lettering, the stars, and the eagle's feathers on the reverse. Weak strikes may show flat areas or reduced detail, especially around the highest points of the design. Coins with strong strikes and brilliant original mint luster are always more desirable in the collector market. Condition plays the most important role in determining value. Circulated 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony dollars are generally worth only face value or small premium. Uncirculated coins graded MS-63, MS-64, and MS-65 are affordable for most collectors. However, coins certified as MS-66, MS-67, or even higher become much scarcer because many examples receive bag marks during storage and transportation. Superb gem mint state examples with clean surfaces, strong strikes, and original luster can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at major coin auctions. One of the exciting aspects of collecting the 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony dollar is searching for mint errors. Valuable errors include double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, clip planches, die cracks, die breaks, struck-through errors, and misaligned dies. Dramatic mint errors are highly collectible and often command significant premiums depending on their rarity and appearance. Unlike the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint did not produce the famous 1979 wide rim, near-date variety. That rare variety is unique to certain Philadelphia coins without a mint mark. Nevertheless, collectors still examine Denver examples carefully for unusual die varieties, attractive toning, and exceptional preservation. Original mint luster is another important factor affecting value. Fresh mint state coins display brilliant cartwheel luster that moves across the coin surface when rotated under light. Coins that have been cleaned, polished, or improperly stored often lose this natural appearance, making them less desirable to serious collectors. Collectors generally prefer coins with untouched original surfaces because they preserve the coin exactly as it left the mint. The Susan B. Anthony dollar series remained in production through 1981 before being suspended because of poor public acceptance. In 1999, production resumed briefly due to increased demand before being replaced by the golden-colored Sacagawea dollar in 2000. Today, the Susan B. Anthony dollar is recognized as an important chapter in American numismatic history because it honored one of the nation's most influential civil rights leaders while introducing a new generation of small-sized dollar coins. Today, the 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony $1 remains a favorite among collectors of modern U.S. coinage. It represents history, social progress, innovative coin design, and the beginning of a short but fascinating coin series. Whether discovered in an old collection, the 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony $1 is one of the most important modern coins ever issued by the United States Mint. It was introduced in 1979 as the first small-size circulating dollar coin in U.S. history, and the first American circulating coin to feature the portrait of a real woman rather than the symbolic image of liberty. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar represents a significant turning point in American coinage. Although the coin was designed to replace the larger Eisenhower dollar and improve convenience in everyday commerce, it faced challenges from the very beginning because many Americans confused it with a quarter due to its similar size, color, and reeded edge. Despite its short circulation life, the 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar remains a favorite among collectors because of its historical importance, fascinating varieties, and the possibility of finding valuable examples worth far more than face value. The obverse of the 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar features a right-facing portrait of Susan B. Anthony, one of the most influential leaders of the American women's suffrage movement. She dedicated her life to fighting for equal rights and women's right to vote, helping shape the future of American democracy. The portrait was created by chief engraver Frank Gasparo and captures Anthony with remarkable detail. Above the portrait appears the word liberty, while the national motto I in God we trust is located to the right. The date 1979 is displayed below the portrait. Unlike earlier Philadelphia coins, this issue carries a P mint mark, making it one of the first Philadelphia circulating coins to display a mint mark. 13 stars surround the portrait, representing the original 13 colonies that formed the United States. The reverse of the coin carries one of the most iconic modern American designs. It depicts a bold eagle descending toward the moon while carrying an olive branch, symbolizing peace and commemorating the successful Apollo 11 moon landing. The design was originally introduced on the Eisenhower dollar and was retained for the Susan B. Anthony dollar because it celebrated one of America's greatest scientific achievements. Around the eagle are the inscriptions United States of America, E pluribus unum, and $1. The Earth is shown floating in space behind the eagle, creating a dramatic and memorable reverse design admired by collectors around the world. The 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar is composed of a pure copper core clad with outer layers of copper nickel, giving the coin its silver-colored appearance while containing no precious metal. The coin weighs 8.1 grams, measures 26.5 millimeters in diameter, and has a reeded edge. One of its most distinctive features is the 11-sided inner border surrounding both sides of the design while maintaining a perfectly round outer shape. This unusual design element was intended to help distinguish the coin from the quarter, although many people still found the two coins confusing. The Philadelphia Mint struck approximately 360 million Susan B. Anthony dollars in 1979, making it the highest mintage in the series. However, despite the enormous production, the coin failed to gain popularity in everyday commerce. Millions of coins remained in government vaults and bank storage because businesses and the public continued to prefer paper $1 bills. As a result, many mint state examples remain available today, although truly superb examples with outstanding surfaces are much more difficult to locate. One of the most famous aspects of the 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar is the existence of two major design varieties known as the wide rim, near date, and narrow rim, far date varieties. The narrow rim variety is the most common, with a date positioned farther from the rim. The much scarcer wide rim variety has a date placed noticeably closer to the rim, leaving very little space between the numbers and the coin's edge. This wide rim variety is highly sought after by collectors and is one of the key coins in the Susan B. Anthony dollar series. High-grade examples of the wide rim variety can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on their condition. Collectors carefully evaluate strike quality when grading the 1979 P dollar. Strongly struck coins display sharp details in Susan B. Anthony's hair, facial features, lettering, stars, and the eagle's feathers on the reverse. Weak strikes may show flatness in these areas, reducing collector demand. Because these coins were stored in large mint bags, many examples receive contact marks and scratches before entering circulation, making flawless specimens especially rare. Condition has the greatest influence on value. Circulated examples are usually worth only face value unless they are the scarce wide rim variety or contain an unusual mint error. Uncirculated examples graded MS63, MS64, and MS65 are widely available and affordable. However, coins graded MS66, MS67, or higher become increasingly scarce because so few escape bag marks. Certified gem examples with exceptional luster, clean surfaces, and outstanding eye appeal have sold for substantial premiums at major coin auctions. Mint errors also make the 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar exciting to collect. Collectors search for double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, clip planches, die cracks, die breaks, struck-through errors, and dramatic misaligned dies. Depending on rarity and appearance, these mint errors can be worth many times the value of an ordinary coin. Every 1979 P dollar deserves careful inspection because unusual varieties continue to be discovered by attentive collectors. Original mint luster is another critical feature. Fresh mint state examples display brilliant cartwheel luster that moves across the coin surface as it is tilted under light. Coins that have been cleaned or polished often lose this natural appearance, reducing their desirability and market value. Experienced collectors strongly prefer coins with original, untouched surfaces because they best represent the coin's condition as it left the mint. The Susan B. Anthony dollar remained in production through 1981 before being discontinued because of poor public acceptance. In 1999, the United States Mint briefly resumed production due to increased demand for dollar coins